Are you ready for the Low Blows Network? He's the face of Irish wrestling, the hottest free agent on the island, the man of 1,000 fish hooks. Your favorite wrestler's least favorite wrestler. Mr. Once a Month, 2 OTT for OTT. The highest paid male terrestrial wrestler in Ireland that's not contracted.
That seems specific, but it's not.
And now, he's the face of the Low Blows Network.
Oh no, he's not.
Oh yes he is, because you're welcome to the Spandex Pantomime with Justy.
Hello and welcome to the Spandex Pantomime with me, your host Justy, coming to you on the Low Blows Network, a network that hosts such podcasts as the Low Blows podcast. What do they call it? Low Blows Flex. Anyways, and Paddy's new yacht, and the one with the podcast, and also Jerry's Talk Nerdy to Me. I really shouldn't do this as a job, should I? I'm bad at this. Anyways, so we're just going to bait straight into this. No guests this week, which is normally boring and shite. But instead, this week, I have asked you, the listeners of the Spanto, to give me questions. And at first, I thought, I can handle these. So I went out and I asked for more controversial questions. And I regret that. So just know that I am not obliged to answer any of your fucking questions, but I will try my best. So look, we'll make this a quick one. I'll get straight into it. There are so many questions, but I'm going to try and make this quick. That being said, I'm starting off with Corporate Keane, so it's not going to be quick. He has given me 4 pages of dialogue for one question. So I'm going to try and do it justice in the way that Corporate Keane would. Right, so you get a call from Vince McMahon. You're offered a place in the Royal Rumble. You take it. You get number 27. Lucky number. Oh shit. You enter the match. Massive pop, obviously. You hold your own until countdown. Buzzer goes off. Number 28 comes out. Oh fuck. It's Rob Conway. He takes out everyone except you. You're now one-on-one with Rob Conway. Fish hook. It's locked in. You accidentally rip his face off. Blood everywhere. Vile. Kids in the crowd are crying. Medics run out. You're awkwardly standing there. Congrats, you ruined everything. The Royal Rumble is cancelled. Adults in the crowd are now crying. You're fired on the spot by Mr. McMahon. He then has a heart attack and dies. WWE immediately goes out of business. All Elite Wrestling is cancelled. Debbie Keitel is now some of the shebang. You return home. OTT want nothing to do with you. Nor does Fight Factory. Nor does Courage. You think it's over. You've reached the end. However, there's one last hope. One last chance of redemption. You receive a phone call. It's from CBL. He doesn't know about the Rumble. They don't have the internet in Longford. They don't have the internet in Longford. He's starting his own promotion out there. You signed for Longford Pro Wrestling. No one else does, though. It's just you, CBL, and the cows in his field. You spend a year fighting his cows. You knock them out at every show. CBL gets an idea. You both plan an invasion on OTT. Many months pass, but eventually it's time you both run into Tallaght Stadium. New venue. Declan sorted it. Jesus Christ. Hi, Declan. CBL steals Mark Haskins' briefcase. The main event is Walter versus Liam Royal. Walter wins. Post-match attack. You run out and rip off his face. Same as Rob Conway, but on purpose. Haskins' music hits. CBL runs out and cashes in. CBL pins Walter. Dead body. What? Oh yeah, CBL pins Walter's dead body. New champion. Confetti everywhere. CBL celebrates. Cameraman quits. Oh, I get it. OTT moves on for business is booming. You're at home, relaxing, watching Japanese eel porn. But then, I want to point out there's a story behind the Japanese eel porn. Anyways, you get another call. It's Nick Gage. He wants you in GCW. You versus him, one-on-one. An I Quit match. You accept. You fly over. You have the match. It's a bloodbath. After some back and forth, it happens. It finally happens. Fish hog. The ref gives Nick the mic. It's his last chance before he dies to say it. I could. So what got you into wrestling? How do I answer him? I say it wouldn't be the same situation as any normal person would ask me that. What got me into wrestling? So what I'd say to Nick Gage there is, I got into rip people's faces off, and then I'd rip his face off. So yeah, so that's that. Thanks a lot, Keen. That's 8 into our time, so we just have time for 2 more questions. Right, let's get through here. I'm looking at the hashtag AskJustyShite on Twitter, and to see see what people are saying and what they're going to ask. Right, this comes from @Kevin Clark something or anyway, he's Camus's bitch is his name. Where do you rank your Twitter game in wrestling? Easily my top 3 most underrated by far. I feel like that's not a question, it's just a compliment, and I would like to say thank you. I didn't know that that's the way that tweet was going to go at the start, and I wouldn't have read it out if I thought so. But where do I think mine ranks? It's pretty okay. I don't think it's that underrated. I think it's probably overrated for the small circle we have. I do good numbers on my shitty jokes, so like I'm happy with that. Right, Declan Kenny, do you think / hope you will work for any promotions outside of Ireland in the future, or was your passport taken away after Justy Jitsu? No, I still have my passport, but I don't seek any. I think I'm just afraid of asking promoters in England to bring me over, because who's going to fly over a guy who shouts fish hook and has man boobs over the likes of More Than Hype and those guys? I don't want to be taking spots from them, and also it just seems like a lot of hassle these days. I'm sure I would love doing it, but I feel like I'm in the twilight and I'm winding down a bit, and I'm just trying to give back to Irish wrestling now instead of taking from British wrestling. Yeah, hope that answered your question. This one's from Katie Harvey. Remember that time on Facebook Bean wrote a list of Bean's our my friend who we do Beanomania for every year, the most hateful man in the world, hilarious. But remember that time on Facebook Bean wrote a list of 10 people he hated most in wrestling, but didn't tell us what the list was and let us argue in the comments. Yeah, I do remember that. Do that, but don't put me on it. Katie, you'd never be on it. Me and you were friends. Although, don't tell anyone I said that. Yeah, I don't even think there's 10 people. There's not many people I hate at all, which is going to be disappointing throughout this whole thing, because I'm sure you wanted me to shoot on people, but I kind of like more people than I hate. And especially in wrestling, we've all got the same stuff in common. There's people with attitudes and stuff like that you'd kind of think, yeah, I wouldn't get on with them as much if it was outside wrestling. But at the same time, we all have this one common thing where we all kind of get on. So, like, if there's someone out there that is a dick, you guys probably all know as well. You know, you can't hide that shit. So, like, as for 10 people, I don't have. There's people I openly dislike in professional wrestling, but most of them have all gone now. I've bullied them out because that's the kind of guy I am. But yeah, I'm not going to do a list of people I hate. There is people I dislike in wrestling, but it's not worth getting a load of heat by saying it on a podcast. If that makes sense. Right, Liam Dunn. Hey, Liam, I just saw you in training today. Liam just started from Fans Do The Wrestles. Where do physically big / fat men fit in the world of indie where everything is fast and flippy? Well, for me, I love variety in my wrestling. So I think a big man, do you know what, like when I see tall big guys come into the gym, I'm like, how tall are you? It's the first question I'll ask them, because they are now competing for my affection by inches. So if there's someone comes in at 6'4", I love them until the guy comes in who's 6'5", and then I love them more than 6'4" guy, because you can get them a contract easier. But where do they fit in? Like where do we all fit? Where do people who aren't really athletic, fucking flippy, fast, and great storytellers as well while they're at it. That's what indie wrestling is now, but where do we all fit? Like, you'll find your niche no matter what. No matter what size you are, no matter what shape you are, no matter what age, race, religion, creed, gender, you will find your place in pro wrestling, and especially indie wrestling, because it is this really inclusive place now. And people will love you if you've got a good shtick and you wrestle well. People will love you, and you won't need to do a million flips to get adoration. I'm still trying to figure out how I can do it, but like, I'm sure you can. Right, let's see, what else have we got? Oh, one more from Liam, who says, who's a locker room leader around Ireland? Any mad stories? Well, loads of mad stories. You're going to have to be more specific about that, but locker room leaders, I don't know. I think, like, for me, time grew seniority, but also I don't feel like I'm, there's a pecking order in a locker room. Like, when I go into a locker room, I feel like I hang out with everybody. I give everybody a little bit of time, like, and I get nostalgic with the older lads. I try and floss with the younger dudes. I'm the chameleon, so I don't think it's a kind of a thing that is there, like, a locker room leader, because for me, I see the likes of LJ and Michael May as locker room leaders, and more so than me, because they've got, like, the ear of this next generation, and they get to chat with them and spend a lot more time with them, so they've got that trust of the locker room, I suppose. And I think, yeah, if you're looking at it, it's not really a pecking order by age or by time spent there. It's about respect, really. And I think when you're in a locker room, you notice that the friendly people, the guys who are willing to give more advice and help people out, that people gravitate towards them, and they kind of make them leaders. But there's no real scope for a leader either, like, you know what I mean? We don't have wrestler court in Ireland, although we probably should with some of the people. But I hope that answers your question. Mad stories, look, I'll just keep listening to this fucking show and we'll try and get into some mad stories. But, like, I don't know, I can't think of any, like, off the top of my head now. That you're going to hear more as this fucking podcast goes on, I'd say, because questions will get specific. Right, let's see. Conor O'Brien asks, anyone on the indie scene you know of that has an aversion to showering? I've got some queer funky smells in the crowd at shows before. I couldn't imagine much worse than the offender being topless, having me in a headlock. Probably me. I probably stink the most. I've noticed that about myself as well, getting smellier and smellier. I'm starting to throw on some of this protection deodorant that stops you from getting smelly throughout the day. But no one really offends me with smells. Sometimes, like, there's a couple of wrestlers that you might be like, oh man, you smell funky, but, like, it's not because they're walking around just like smell bags who don't shower. It's because most of the time they've been rolling around in the ring or in the gym. I don't have that excuse, the gym one. But the last Contender show, I smelled so bad. I only got a whiff of myself afterwards, and I was like, and I wasn't even wrestling on it. I was only running around doing like setting up the ring and stuff. But I must have sweated through a t-shirt, because, like, afterwards I was fucking stinking, and I was like, oh man, I was talking to loads of people in the crowd and they're going to be like, Justy's that smelly wrestler. So sorry if I stank on any of you people at Contenders the last time. But no one really gives me much guff with being stinky or anything like that. Liam Dunn back for another one. Who would be the next Irish star to look out for? Most people know them all, but like people who I am loving right now, looking at, like Justin Daniels, we all know from Project Next Gen at Big Sean, but right now Big Rab, who is, I think him and Justin are going to start a tag team. now, but Big Rab is also exceptional. Just turned 16, and he is an exceptional talent. So I think have a look for Rab. But like, there's so many guys that I could put over, but you all know the guys I'm gonna put over. So yeah, Rab is my choice now. Coming into 2019, he's the guy who I'm putting my house on. Right, from Simpsons Wrestling Memes. If you don't like that page, just follow them. It's hilarious. What's your favourite one-liners, film and TV? I've got a favourite one-liner, and it's an obscure one from the film Trading Places, and the character of James Belushi, or is it John? No, it's James Belushi, the one who didn't die from all the cocaine, who he was dressed up in a gorilla suit and he got attacked, and the gorilla suit was taken off him. But that's not anything to do with anything. He's in a gorilla suit. He stands beside a clown at the bar, and the clown says, "Nice monkey suit." And James Belushi turns around and says, Monkey, I'm a gorilla, you clown." And it just popped me as a 14-year-old, and it still pops me to this day. So it's probably one of my best lines ever. And tell you a dirty joke? No, you've put me on the spot. I don't know any that aren't kind of interactive either, where you try to catch people out and stuff. So, a dirty joke? I don't know. I'll leave that. I might come back to it. I'll see. This one comes from Haley the Tiny. Looking back over every single show and experience you have had since you started on this mad wrestling journey, which memory is the fondest? And would there be anything that you would change? Right, I can't remember shit, because I get my head rattled a lot, and also I didn't have a lot of brain cells to begin with. So I don't know, be plucking kind of random moments out of my career. I don't really know if it's the best ones, but there's of course the Thierry Henry story in France. It's a long one, so I'm not going to get into it, but that was one of my favourites. Thierry Henry handled the ball, and I got bumped up to main event because of it. It was a lot of fun. Also hanging out under the ring and then doing my reveal in the Tivoli, that was so much fun. I was buzzing after that for like a long time after that. So that was a really special moment. But other moments are just like little moments where I have the crack, and like you throw out something to the audience and they'll give it back to you and stuff like that. That's what I love about wrestling. It's not about those big huge moments. It's about like those kind of interactions where, like, yeah, I know someone went home happy because they saw me getting beaten up or whatever, like something like that. Is there anything I change? Yeah, loads. I wouldn't have fucking I wouldn't have tucked my chin on a Styles Clash when I was fucking just turned 18 years of age, because that broke my neck and it hurt a lot and it put me back immensely. And with that, I would love to have guessed that wrestling was going to get this popular, and I wouldn't have let my body get to a point where it's eroding and giving up on me. So yeah, what would I change? I would have saved myself for this upspring in professional wrestling, and I would have been right now one of the best in the world with a lovely body and loads of belts and respect and admiration. But instead, I've got a podcast. So yay! But yeah, hope that answers that question. Flint, great guy, looks like Rolf Harris. Do you agree with the fact that Spy Kids 3 should be required viewing for the Leaving Cert English curriculum on analysing media? Never saw Spy Kids 3, Flint. Stopped at 1 and 2. Don't know why. Might watch it this weekend. If anyone out there could send me a link to Spy Kids 3, I'll be able to answer Flint's question. Thank you. This one comes from Gene Money, who I've seen some of his stuff recently. I've seen some clips from him versus Martina in an Undertaker-esque match. Brilliant. His question is, why isn't brown wrestling gear a thing? Kind of like some people have brown. Braun Strowman, or Braun Strowman, has brown pants. Also, Eamon McDermott had a whole gimmick where he dressed in brown, and his shtick was the poop emoji, which done really well until he said the word ring rats on Twitter, and then everybody had a fucking meltdown, and then nobody really saw much from Eamon anymore. I hope he's doing well. But yeah, but like people have worn brown, just not a lot. Maybe it's because, you know, the poop emoji thing. But if I was wrestling like Brock Lesnar, I'd like to wear brown wrestling gear so no one would see when I shit myself. Yeah. Anyways, this is a follow-up. In the process of buying some brown leather-like wrestling gear. Okay, so that's why Gene asked. So everybody, follow Gene on his Twitter, by the way. He's funny. He's funny, Gene Money. Right, well, let's kick on to something else other than brown wrestling gear. What's your creepiest fan experience? I don't have loads of creepy fan experiences. I've had like people who don't really know what like personal boundaries are, and they'll stand too close and stuff, but I've got a lot of death threats off that one fan, but like, let's not get into that, because that got me a stint off of fucking OTT for 11 months. I don't really. I had one guy that when I was a lot younger, and all the shitty, terrible matches were put up on YouTube, like of gym shows and stuff, that he was just telling me I was sexy and that I was the best wrestler and all. And yeah, I was about 18 or 19 at the time, so I had a real R. Kelly feeling about it. Didn't make me feel all that comfortable. But that's it, yeah, that's probably it. Chris Jack asks, what's the worst gimmick or storyline you've been involved in? What's been the biggest turnaround for a wrestler from a dogshit gimmick or ropey performer to a standout? Oh, these are good questions. I wish I fucking put some more thought into that. Worst gimmick that I've been involved in? There's no bad gimmick for Justy. I will turn shit into diamonds. I can guarantee, like, I'm the guy who made Justy Jitsu the most talked about thing in OTT. Like, and that was the drizz. So, yeah, for me, I don't think there's many bad storylines for me or gimmicks for me to be involved in. No, I'm pretty happy with everything I've done. What's the biggest turnaround from a wrestler that I thought was going to be dog shit or a dog shit gimmick? Oh man, if I look at, try and have a think, I can't really think of people that I thought were dog shit at the start and then would never make it. I was actually really good at the start and then have got progressively worse since then. So like, I'm the opposite. I'm dog shit now, but I was really good at the start. So much promise. But who was bad at the start and ended up being really good? I can't think of anyone on my head who I would have said was like, no way would I have thought they'd become a wrestler, and then they did. Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to have a little think about that. Yeah, maybe I'll get back to you on that one. It's a really tricky one, but a really good one. Yeah. As I'm flicking through here, there's a promoted ad on Twitter about data analytics. So they nearly snuck their way in. I got some free advertising on the Spanto, but I was vigilant and I caught them. This one's from Luther Valentine, I assume. Yep. Biggest willy you've ever seen in a locker room? You don't see many willies in locker rooms. Wrestlers are mostly modest and they will cover up, but it's pointless because we're all wearing spandex. So I know who has the biggest penis in wrestling, and I hope I don't embarrass him, and I hope I don't come across as creepy, but I've had to stand beside him a lot, and it's very, very, it makes me feel inadequate, and it's very distracting as well, and it's Darren Carney. That guy is equipped. An honourable mention as well for Liam Royal, but like his might be more like proportionate to like his body, but Darren Carney just has a little python hanging around in those fucking spandex shorts of his. Right, this one comes from Declan Byrne. Justy, do you want to see my Irish ranking system top 500? No, Declan, I don't, because I no 500 names. It's good that you've got like a slightly different opinion on who your favourites would be and stuff. But Declan, do you really like them, or are you just trying to be different? Because I'm your favourite wrestler, and like just admit it. And you also liked Justy Jitsu. Admit that. Admit it. No, if you want to throw out like 500 names there, you're probably going to have to start naming people who are in the audience as well, because there is not 500 wrestlers in Ireland. Although he could probably know a lot, like he could probably know some backyard and some underground wrestling places. So Deco, give it a go. Give it a go. I'll retweet it if you put it out there. Right. This one comes from our friends at The One with the Podcast, also available on the Low Blows Network. They're keeping it very brand related because they are covering the In-Betweeners, one of my favourite shows, on their podcast. So I'm going to have a look at what they're saying. Cast Irish wrestling personalities as In-Betweeners characters. Gas. This is easy. So, right, we needed Jay, Simon, Neil, Will, Carly, Big John, Gilbert, Will's mum, and Neil's da. Jay is easily Sean Maxter Brennan. Easily. There could be loads of candidates, but he is the number one guy. You ask anyone in pro wrestling who Jay from the In-Betweeners would be as a pro wrestler, and if they don't say Sean Maxter Brennan, they don't know Sean Maxter Brennan. Right, Simon. That's a hard one. Simon. Oh, Simon's a hard one. Little bit kind of geeky, little bit on the kind of shy side. Keeps himself to himself. That's a hard. Maybe I'll get back to him. Neil. An idiot. Karen. Martina could be Neil. Easily. Yeah, that's a good one. Will. Uptight guy who kind of doesn't fit in with everyone. Let me see. Uptight kind of... who's Will? That's a hard one as well. Carly. Girl. Leads Simon on a bit. I don't know. Big John. I should have put more thought into this. Neil's da. I'll tell you who Neil's da is, and this is going to be a peculiar one. It's an Irish wrestling podcaster. David Cullen. I said to David Cullen, Dave, I thought you were gay. And he goes, I get that, it's because I'm soft-spoken. And then I felt really bad because I just assumed that he was gay because he was soft-spoken. So he's very like Neil's da in that he's not gay, but sometimes people will mistake him for it. Will's mum. The hot chick that none of us are allowed to hop off. Do you know who that is? Claire the Medic. Yeah, she's top 3 hottest wrestling personalities in the world, behind my missus and Vicky Haskins. I say behind, they're all up there in a little jumble. But yeah, Claire the OTT Medic is as hot as the sun, but also she's an absolute sweetheart, so we don't really give her as much of a ribbon as you would Will's mum. Gilbert has to be Cabrera, doesn't it? That's it, just an intimidating figure who doesn't give a fuck about anybody else because he's in charge. Yeah, that's Cabrera. Without a doubt. Big John? Which one's Big John? Like the dopey one with the ears? I don't know. Now we Simon and Will. Simon and this is a tough one. Is this good enough? Like, did I get away with it? Too tough. If I think about it, I'll come back to it. But you've got enough out of me. All right, the one with the podcast available on the Low Blows Network. Joe Stodge, when you done your burger tour on Instagram, who was the eventual winner? Also, where was the worst? Rick's Burgers in town is the worst burger I've ever had in my life. Dry, and also I think I was ill after it. So Rick's Burgers there on fucking, is it like just on Georgia Street, just at the start between Dame Street and Georgia Street. Who won? See, I didn't have an eventual winner. I had I preferred Wow Burger's burger, and I really liked Five Guys burger. I loved the setup for Bunsen, but also I was kind of like, it didn't blow me away. A little bit pretentious. The air, for me, if I was going to pick and I was going to stick to them all, I like a bit of Wow Burger. Give me some garlic fries, and like they let you mix up the Coke as well, like, so that's good. Like, they give you like free reign with the Coke machine, so that's pretty cool. I think Wow Burger was my winner. I liked Five Guys. I liked there was a place called Joe Burger that was nice as well, but it's gone now. But Wow Burger was my favourite. There, I picked it. Adam at Clueless Nerd. Yo, this is funny because he used to train with us and his nickname was Burger. Funny. Anyway, can we have a Team Mega reunion on a future episode? Like so many times people ask me to do when are you doing a Team Mega reunion? That's me, a tag team between me and Danny Butler, by the way, if anyone doesn't know. And I'm like, we do it every fucking year and no one cares. No one remembers. Like 5 people out of 500 will remember, so no. But for an episode of the Spanto, I'm definitely getting Danny, and I'm hoping soon he's going to be on my list for like the one, like in the next few podcasts. Hopefully, Danny will be up, because I know Danny longer than anyone else I know in Irish wrestling. I knew him before we were Irish wrestlers, and I think we'll just have some good stories and hopefully some good chemistry out of ex-tag team partners. Right, what's next? Andrew O'Byrne. Hey Andrew, gun to your head, no use of the fish hook anymore, or no more audience interaction anymore? That's an easy one. I would get rid of the fish hook in a second and keep the audience interaction, because that's my favourite part of professional wrestling. And a fish hook, I can get some other shit over. I can get an eye rake over, Come on, kid. Give me a hard question. Challenge me here. But no, my favourite thing is audience interaction, so I definitely keep that. Right, let's see what else. Go into my head. 3 hours under the ring, or watch that press conference from start to finish. I don't do well with cringe, with stuff that makes me cringe and go, ooh, like when there's a television program on and it's like The Office or something like that. Oh man, I had my hand on the dial all the time for The Office, and that press conference, I watched 30 seconds of it and switched it off because I was so cringy. So and I really enjoyed my 3 hours under the ring, listening to all what you little fuckers were talking about, and just hanging out under there, playing around. It's grand. So yeah, I do under the ring. Under the ring, there'll be no accusations, just friendly crustaceans under the ring. Yeah, someone get onto me with what that's a reference to. Tommy McNulty, referee Tommy from up north. Let's see. Not sure if it's ever been addressed before. I've heard different things in the past. But what was the crack with, what was the crack with that Neil Frenzy dog video? Right. I don't know, I'm not all that proud of this. But Neil Frenzy got bollocks drunk one night, a house party before he was doing referee for a show. It was before we were heading off for AWR tours and stuff like that. We were doing these college gigs, and we had a show in Dublin one night, and the next night the show was in Cork, and we all headed back to a house where there was some drinks, but I got concussed that night. And, well, I don't know if I was concussed, I didn't go to the hospital, but I stayed away from the drink, and I was trying to stay up all night. And what happened was Frenzy started knocking back rum, and we started encouraging him because it was funny to watch a little lad get bollocks drunk. But then he got way too drunk, and now again, it would have happened to me if if I drank the same amount as him, the exact same thing would have happened. So what happened then, he got drunk and everyone else was more or less drunk, and I wasn't, but I didn't care about him because he got very abusive towards me. And he was saying woeful things to people and stuff like that, which again, you can't blame him. The guy was fucking probably stomach pumpable when it comes to how much he drank. But the thing with the dog was there was a lovely little boxer dog there, and he came up and he was licking Neil Frenzy's face, and Neil Frenzy was giving him lots of kisses, and then he had his eyes closed, and one of the wrestlers, I won't name who, but he's a bad bastard, just picked up the dog and put the dog's willy in front of Neil's face, and Neil drunkenly leaned his face. He didn't lick the dick or anything like that, like he just leaned his face in and touched the dog's genitalia. But the rest of the videos were of like Frenzy fucking getting naked and, you know, running around and stuff like that. So I feel bad because he that was kind of his last foray into Irish wrestling. Then I didn't see him much after that. So yeah, Neil, if you're out there, just come back. Like, fucking sorry, man. I actually am legitimately sorry about that. But yeah, it was fun at the night. Like, fucking, we all thought it was hilarious. Some guy got bollocks drunk, but at the end of it, it probably wasn't his proudest moment. So I feel bad, and retrospectively now, I'm a different person than I was back then. So I'd like to think that I wouldn't have given him such a hard time. But also, he called me a lot of really bad names, but he was drunk. So that's it. That's all in that story. Worst. Oh, this one comes from David Kent, and this is obviously when I asked for the more controversial stuff. Worst person I've ever worked with. Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. I don't like. That is a tough one. I've worked over in the States, and the wrestlers I've worked there were god awful. And to be honest, I can't remember their names. There was a couple of different nights. Like, one was a tag team, and the other was a single guy just having a singles match with him. And it wasn't great. But like over here, like when you say worst, is it like who was a dickhead or who was just a bad worker? Because over here, I don't know. There's not many dickheads, and like for me to say that someone is a bad worker, you've got to be really fucking bad, because, you know, I'm alright, like, my matches are easy. So no, I'm not giving you any names there, David Kent. But who's the worst worker? It's a fucking, it's a doozy. But yeah, I'm not gonna fucking name anyone I like, so go fuck yourself. But thanks for the question. Sean, at Shawnee Rocks, OTT cameraman. Great guy. Can you do an episode as the narrator from the game of Mafia, or a video podcast that is just a game of Mafia? If people who don't know the game of Mafia, it's something we've started doing now on buses to Belfast, or tour buses to anywhere, which I don't really go anywhere else, so it's just Belfast. You got enough people, you do a Mafia game, but I get really into it, so you need a narrator for the game. And the last time I done it, I think, you know, I should probably have made it. I should be getting a TV deal, but no, I can't do a full episode of the Spanto as the narrator, because I would run out of steam very quick. The narrator is very extravagant in his movements. Yeah, he talks like that. Hello and welcome to the Spandex Pantomime with me, your host, Justy. Yeah, so that's him. So that's about it. Sorry, Sean. I probably won't be doing a full episode. Right. Back to Tommy the ref. Any good or bad referee experiences? Doesn't have to be about me, lol. I'm just genuinely interested. Bad referee stuff? No. I have so much crack with referees when I'm out in the ring. Foxy and me have a lovely relationship of you don't make me laugh, I won't make you laugh, but we're both trying to make each other laugh. I'm the same with you, Tommy, as well, where any opportunity I get to take the piss, I do. I also love refereeing. I've done a lot of refereeing for wrestling.ie, and I get up to a lot of mischief there, but Foxy has started to do this thing now where, like, Foxy's like fucking Mr. Professional, but he's started to do this thing now where he tells you when to kick out of a fucking pin. First time I heard him, like, he says now to let you know when to kick out. I'm like, motherfucker, I know, this is my match. So I think I think there was a point where 1, 2, and Foxy goes now, and I went, what? Foxy, and then I kicked out, obviously, but then Foxy just looked at me and goes, don't do that again. Like, I gave him a heart attack, buddy. I'm gonna kick out, like, I'm not concussed. But again, Foxy is an excellent referee, like an absolute fucking diamond to have beside you. Same with Tommy as well. It's good when you've got a referee who doesn't make you feel like they don't stand in your way, but also they help the match along. And as well as that, when you're me and you like to interact with people a lot in the ring, those guys are perfect. That they're fun loving, they want to get into it, and they're more than willing to make fools of themselves in the ring as well, which is always fantastic. So yeah, much love to the Irish referees. And by the way, like, we need more of them. These guys are dying out there in shows and stuff. So if you want to get involved in professional wrestling and you're like, I don't want to take bumps, or at least not too many, be a referee. It's so much fun. Remember that time Linus was the referee? Is it Linus or Linus? I said that to his face the other day and he never answered me. But Linus was in the crowd for July 6th, and I'd gotten wind that it was his birthday, and I was like, well, if you've got, like, get him in to do a 3 count in the ring, and it was just a real fun moment. But Linus, he should do ref. We also get Eddie Sideburns over here sometimes as well from Scotland. Good ref. But yeah, that's referees. Love them. Marion Armstrong, at baby effing face, you know him from the wrestlings. Right. Oh, he must have asked who, because this starts with an also. You're casting Irish Wrestling TV, Irish Wrestling the sitcom. Who are the characters and what actors play them? Oh, tricky. I'd definitely be in there, and Chris Pratt would play me, because it's the obvious fit. But who else? That guy who plays Jay from The In-Betweeners can play Sean Maxter Brennan. I don't know. Johnny Vegas to play Phil Boyd. He's going to hate that. Johnny Vegas, I'll put a wig on him and he can play Katie Harvey as well. Perfect. This is a good one. Who'd play Martina in this sitcom? Brendan O'Carroll. Perfect. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what it will be about. If you ever get a chance to ask any of the guys from the Fight Factory, or any of the guys from Main Stage about a sitcom called The Tuckers, yeah, get them to tell you about that. Get them to show you some videos, cause ask LJ Cleary about the scripts for The Tuckers. I listened for about 2 hours to him explaining his sitcom idea, and I almost gave him the money to commission it, only I forgot I don't have any money. Yeah, so that's that. I don't know what the sitcom. If you want to know about Irish wrestling sitcoms, talk to LJ. Right, Chloe Lynch asks, best advice you would give a younger wrestler self. The best advice I would give, don't worry that you're shit, because you have to start somewhere and you will get better. Don't get disheartened If you don't pick up on stuff, you'll get there eventually. Keep slogging and get the time. Be respectful to everybody, but don't be a walkover. So get out and train as many places as possible. That's what I'd say. That's it. Here's from Laura Baird. Is insanity overrated? Also, favourite moment in your career? Well, you went really specific and then really broad. Are you asking me, is Insanity the team overrated? No, I love them. The guys are fucking deadly, and Killian Dane is a boss. Also, I met Eric Young once, and he was the nicest guy ever. So, like, no, I like them. If you're asking me, is Insanity, the mental state of mind, overrated? No. Insanity can get you through a lot of places in life. I don't know. Favourite moment of my career? Again, that's probably going to be one of them that's asked over and over again. So, I don't know. It changes all the time with how, like, when things progress, and especially with the likes of OTT coming up with some like crazy new stuff. I'm down in Phoenix now, really enjoying it. I'm having a blast in PW with tagging with Darren, and Fight Factory shows. It's like watching your fucking little babies run for the first time. So, like, yeah, there's so many moments, and it's always ever changing, and I'd hate to pinpoint down one moment and say it now, because I know I'll remember something later on that will be like, oh, that was my favourite moment. So I'm sorry, that's a cop-out answer, but that's it. Hashtag ask Justy Shite. Would you have liked to, this one comes from Dave O'Brien. Would you have liked to wrestle full-time, or do you like your shoot job? No, I don't like my shoot job. It's hard on my back, and it hurts. And I would have, of course, loved to have wrestled full-time. But, alas, that's not the way things have worked out. And I've got to just be happy with my station in life. So I'm happy that I get as much wrestling as I can on a little island like Ireland, and that I get to coach people and help other people out. And maybe someday they'll get a full-time job and then give me money. Which would be nice. Alright, from Dave O'Brien again. Is Joe open to listening to wrestlers creative, or is it more of a, this is the plan, like it or lump it? Joe's very autocratic when it comes to stuff, in a way that he has his idea and he wants to go with it, and that's it. But also, he does say, like, I'll get a text off Joe that says, I'm trying to come up with ideas for such and such a character, for this guy. If you have anything, get back to me. And then, yeah, so he does, like, he lets you in, and he gives you a lot of creative. Like, for instance, like, Justy Jitsu was 100% my fault, and not Joe's at all. So, like, he gave me that freedom, and he probably won't again. But, fuck it, I enjoy Justy Jitsu, and I'm enjoying this now. So, yeah, does Joe, like, it's hit and miss, it's mix and match. Like, he does and he doesn't. But for the most part, OTT is Joe's vision, and he takes care of it. He's very deliberate with it, and he knows what he wants from it. But he does give you creative control with your character, with what you want to do in your match, like all that kind of stuff. Like, so it's actually it's a good environment, because if it was a boss who didn't have a fucking clue what he's talking about, and he was telling you what to do, you'd be like, oh man, I know more than this guy. But Joe is very clever. He's like a wrestling genius. He knows what the audience wants. He knows what he wants. He knows what the wrestlers are capable of. And I put my trust in his vision every day of the week. So hopefully that answers that one. Another one from Dave is, are you enjoying being off the drink? Do you think you will drink again? Obviously not to the extent that you were, but just a social amount. First of all, I didn't drink that much. I wasn't like an alcoholic. I just, when I went on the piss, I went on the piss. It was session. And I couldn't just like stick to pints. I'd get the taste for vodka, and then I'd be slobbering all over people, and I'd be an egot with a bit of drink in me. So I I just stopped. And yeah, it hasn't really bothered me. It's not like, oh, I feel much better now that I'm off the drink. Because, to be honest, I wasn't drinking that frequently that as, like, it would have been affecting my health. But, no, I think it's a better option for me. I think I'm better off without the drink. Do I think I'll drink again? Yeah, never say never. You know, I do like a mojito, so maybe someday I'll have another sip. But, yeah, I'm not off the drink because I'm an alcoholic, if that's what you're asking. Right, Dave O'Brien again. Oh, sure, you keep asking. You are an amazing talker. Well, I'd want to be. If the wrestling booking or drying up or manager role or commentary be something that you would be interested in, or have you been there, done that on the manager side of things? I love managing. So yeah, I'd definitely be up for that. I also love commentary, so I'd definitely be up for that. But who's going to trust me on a live mic for a full show? The thing about commentary is, as a wrestler, you've got to find the balance of putting the people and the product over in the ring and not really talking all about yourself and making it about yourself, but still having your personality cross. So it's a challenge that I would love to accept, but I can't imagine me being on OTT commentary anytime soon, because Joe would have a fucking conniption if he thought me with a live mic was an option. But yeah, I've done commentary for PWU, and I've sat in on commentary for shows in the past. I really enjoy it. I love managing, and I really like refereeing as well. So they're all options for me. But for now, I'm going to see if my body holds up and get another couple of years out of wrestling. Yeah. So that's that one. Oh, Dave O'Brien, another one. How many fucking questions are you asking? You have worked with a lot of wrestlers who are some of the best unsung wrestlers out there that you worked alongside or against. Who are the best unsung wrestlers? Oh, that's And on the flip side, who did you hate wrestling with? Me and Phil Boyd don't gel together in the ring, and I think it's more because I'm bad rather than him being bad. But I don't hate wrestling him. It's just I'm always really nervous about getting into the ring with Phil because we've had a couple of stinkers, and I'm like, I don't want to have those stinkers again. So I love Phil, but I am not a big fan of wrestling with him, and it's not because of him. Because as anyone who has ever wrestled Phil Boyd will tell you, he makes everything so much fucking easier. But for some reason, I'm like a fucking idiot when I'm in the ring with Phil. Yeah, so who's an unsung hero that I love? Like, the single easiest night of my life was wrestling Charlie Sterling, who is the unsung hero. I know everybody like, Charlie's pretty good. But someone needs to give Charlie a contract. Somebody somewhere needs to give Charlie Sterling a contract and put your company on his shoulders. The man is the best worker I've ever gone up against. Jesus Christ. Are you serious? This is Dave O'Brien again. Fucking hell. This is going to be a quick one. Oh no, it's not, because look at the question. When you were, and he does air quotes here, or well, actual quotes, fired from OTT last year, how did Joe tell you? Was there a big argument, or did you just not get booked and you got the hint? It's really weird, because, you know, when you say it was mutual, it kind of was. It's weird because we were texting about the problems we were after having, and I was feeling like he wasn't listening to me, and he was feeling like I should just shut the fuck up and do what I'm told, and my social media was a fucking mess anyways. Sorry, Joe. So we were texting, and I remember vividly where I was, because it was one of the fucking, like, I remember, like, after it happened to me being like, fuck, that's it now, it's happened. But I was texting with Joe. I was walking just into my estate, and I remember it was, the last thing Joe said was, so, if you don't do what I want and I don't do what you want. Like, it wasn't, obviously I'm paraphrasing here, but like at the end of the day it was, Joe said, so that means we just can't work together anymore. And I said, well, if that's what that means, that's what that means. And I was thick as a bat. I want to point out I was thick as fuck. I was furious with Joe. I was furious with that fucker that had caused this argument. I was in a very angry fucking place, and Joe was very angry with me as well. Like, as we've spoken afterwards, like the two of us were just fucking spitting venom, and the text messages were probably a lot more courteous than what we were actually saying behind the text message. But I thanked him for the opportunities, and he said no problem, and that was the last we spoke for months and months and months. Yeah, so it was weird. Like, it's not as if, like, if you piss Joe off and you get fired, like, he just doesn't book you anymore. That's grand. But genuinely, there we had a discussion, and we both came to the conclusion that we couldn't work together. So that was it. Right. This is Linus. Assuming it was going to take place in FFPW gym, so not WrestleMania main event, audience or payday, who would you work with? Oh, if I could work with anybody in the world, who would I work with? And it's not like, so it's not a Mania main event, so it's anyone I could work with in the world. Like, Jericho's my favourite wrestler, I'd love to work him, but realistically, Yano, or someone as ridiculous as Yano, I think I would have the best. I think I love playing the straight man heel against the wacky faces, and I think Yano's perfect for that. I fought Grado in Belfast a couple of years ago, and it was so much fun. Probably one of the easiest matches I've ever had, and it was great crack. So, like, the likes of Yano would be just another one of those. So yeah, probably that. Or I'd do it like a death match against Terry Funk. Oh man, yeah. And obviously, I've always wanted to wrestle a bear, but it's probably never going to happen. I said probably never. It's never going to happen. But I would love to wrestle a bear. Right. Look, it's time for my dinner, so I'm going to stop this recording and I'm going to get straight back into it right after I've had a burger. This is going on longer than I would have thought. Right, hit me back after the burger.